Hi everyone, my name is Stevy Acevedo and welcome back to another episode of the Curator's Corner. Today we have a special episode. We'll be answering questions for Ask a Curator Day. Today we're going to be answering some of the questions that you all submitted to me for Ask a Curator Day. So our first question today is, what is your favorite ice cream? Submitted to us by Gigi, who is a community member. So Gigi, my favorite flavor of ice cream is actually cookies and cream. Here we have a question from student Arena who asked, did you always know you wanted to be a curator? And Arena, a great answer to that is yes, I did. It has taken me some time to get to be a curator, but lots of experience and education really helps. Here we have a question from Gigi, who is another community member, that asks, what is your favorite historical place to visit? Well, Gigi, I have multiple places I actually like to visit, which include archaeological sites. So one of my favorite ones to visit is actually Chaco Canyon. So Rachna's question, who is a community member, asked, what advice do you have for students looking to go into this field? Well, Rachna, a great thing to think about is that your education is really important. So most curators either have a master's or a PhD, and education is great, but experience is even better. So if you have the opportunity to volunteer or intern, I would recommend you start off there, and then you can always move your way up. So here at the Guild Museum, this is my 10th year working in the museum field. So you can see it takes a while to become a curator. It's not going to happen right after college. So our next question is from Martin, who's a community member, who asks, do you have any role models within the curating field that you look up to? And yes, Martin, I do have a lot of people that I look up to, especially the people I have worked with in the past, including Janine Peterson Guzman and Dr. Wendy Teeter, because not only did I learn a lot from them, I also got lots of hands-on experience with the projects that I was able to work with them and collaborate with. So our next question is from Rachna, who's a community member, that asks, if you could curate for any museum and had full access to their collections, which museum would you pick and what exhibit would you want to curate? So Rachna, this is a great question. When I was going to graduate school in Illinois, I would say my favorite place to visit was the Field Museum in Chicago, Illinois. And even though I'm not a paleontologist, but I did study archaeology, I would say I would like to curate and work with their dinosaur collection, especially since Sue the T-Rex is found there in the Field Museum, who is the most complete T-Rex ever found and stands 40 feet long and 13 feet tall from the hip. So you can only imagine working with dinosaurs would be amazing for me. And you can even see that here in my office. I have some little dinosaurs that keep me company every day. So the next question we have is a great question from Jesselyn, who's a student. She asked, do you have to clean the lifelike statues like Lucky Baldwin? So if you've ever been here to the Guild Museum, we have a wax figure of Lucky Baldwin, and yes, I do have to clean it. You don't want to use any chemicals because it will damage the wax figure. Therefore, our way to cleaning it is actually by vacuuming it. So every 2 weeks to a month, I spend time vacuuming Lucky Baldwin, which is an interesting process, but it gets the job done. Jesselyn also asked, do statues scare you sometimes because they look like real people? Well, Jesselyn, I must say, here at the Guild Museum, we have a wax figure of not only Lucky Baldwin, but also Anita Baldwin. And in the beginning when I was working here, I would say that they did scare me, but now I just kind of see them as regular wax figures that keep me company here at the museum. And so far, they have not talked back, so I think I'm okay. Here we have a question from Jonathan, who's an intern, that asks, what is the first step in designing an exhibit? Well, Jonathan, there's several different steps you have to take. The first one is looking at what your topic and theme will be for your exhibit. Then you have to look at your collection to see what items you can highlight. And then you also want to take a look at what sub-themes you can use for your exhibit. Next, you would want to see what exhibit layout you would like to use and also start designing the labels for your exhibit. And it's always really nice to have interns and volunteers here at the museum help collaborate with these amazing ideas. Here we have a question from Rachna, who's a community member, that asks, how does the museum decide what artifacts or themes to showcase? Well, the way that we do that is by looking at it, I guess, as two parts. We look at the artifacts to see what I can properly put on display without damaging it, because we do have some fragile items. So if it's available and we know that nothing will happen to it if we put it on display, we will definitely do that. But if we do see that there might be some damage if we were to put it on display, we typically will have a replica or a copy of the object. And to go to your question about the themes, we always look at what has been done in the past, and then also taking a look at what would engage visitors today. PD, a community member, asks, what programs can we expect now that everything is virtual? Well, PD, there is lots of programs that we're doing virtually, including our Curator's Corner videos, especially our Kids Corner and our Arcadia videos that we're going to be launching soon. So here at the museum, we've also been able to create some scout programs as well as school programs that can be done virtually. So even though our community members can't visit us right now here at the museum, we can still have you participate with the different activities we have planned here. Here we have a question from Rachna that asks, what are some of your favorite exhibits that you have curated? Well, some of my favorite exhibits I've curated have actually been temporary exhibits that we've had here at the museum from local artists, as well as some that we've created around the city of Arcadia, which include the Arcadia High School Band, the Rose Parade, and even the Arcadia Women's Club. So Lizbeth asks, what is the most surprising object you've come across at the museum? Well, Lizbeth, I think the most surprising object would have to be a grenade that was found in our collection. Thankfully, it's not an active grenade. It is just the shell of it. But it was very interesting when I first saw it. So Jonathan asked, what is the strangest thing you found in your collection? Jonathan, I think the strangest thing we have found here is coprolite. And if you're not aware of what coprolite is, that is dinosaur poop. So Jonathan asked, what is the most frustrating part of managing a collection? Well, Jonathan, I think the most frustrating and hardest part is making sure that you have everything together. And so you want to make sure that you have all your paperwork together, that all the items are complete, and that they are all in the way that they were donated here at the museum. So I would say that's the most frustrating part. So Martin asked, what is the best part of working at the Guild Museum? Well, Martin, I think the most amazing part of working here at the Guild Museum is that I get to work with some amazing people, including our director, Darlene Bradley, for the library and museum, and also working with my co-worker, Brittany Alberto, and how we're able to collaborate and create these amazing projects and amazing events for our community here in Arcadia, which is so loving and inviting. So Leah asked, do you guys have virtual tours in your museum? Well, Leah, we're currently updating our exhibit spaces here at the museum, so hopefully soon we'll be able to provide virtual exhibits tours here at the museum. So Arena asked, what does a typical day as a curator look like? Well, Arena, it starts here in my office. You can see I typically spend some time looking at my emails, doing some administrative work, and then typically throughout the day I'm working with our collection, curating things, looking at new designs for our exhibits, and also collaborating and answering any questions that my coworkers might have about stuff here at the museum. Our last question today is from Lizbeth, who asked, do you have an object or display that elicits an emotional response from you personally? I think this is a very great question, and I would say the Rio Sato collection that we have here at the museum is one of them that personally touches me, just because it shows the life of Rio Sato that she drew personally from her experience being at the Santa Anita Assembly Center during World War II. Thanks once again for sending your questions for me to answer today for this special episode of the Curious Corner. We hope to see you next time. Bye!